Let's talk to Zack Polanski. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, thanks for having me on.
Welcome. So this is a rather awkward front page for you, isn't it? The Daily Star. What a booby. New Green Party leader Zack Polanski, sorry for giving women breast enlargements by hypnosis. Not the start you'd imagine.
Well, I wouldn't believe everything you read in The Sun, and this was a story from about 12 years ago. I've apologised then, I apologise now. One of my favourite politicians, Tony Benn, said, I don't care about where you came from, I care about where you're going. And where I'm going is to tackle inequality, to tackle the climate crisis, to lower people's bills.
But just to understand, because, of course, this would be the first time that very many of our viewers will see you as the Green Party leader. Just explain, at the time, you believed that through hypnotherapy you could enlarge a woman's breasts and charge people for that. What was your thinking then, and how did your thinking change subsequently?
Anyone who believed that would, that would be problematic, and that's nothing I ever believed. I was approached by The Sun. They approached me to say, would you like to do an article about body image? I said yes. I was misrepresented. I apologised a day later. That was 12 years ago, a long time before I was anywhere near politics. And as I say, since then, I have a strong track record of standing up for social justice, standing up to lower people's bills, standing up for marginalised people in this country. And that's a platform I'm very proud to stand on today. So
categorically, you never believed through hypnotherapy you could enlarge women's breasts?
I mean, does anyone believe that? And actually, lots of men got in touch with me asking if it could help with other body parts. I've never done it for men, I've never done it for women, and that's not something I believe in.
But in The Star today, it says you admitted you carried out the bizarre practice at a clinic in Harley Street where you told women to picture themselves with bigger boobs.
I want to tax multimillionaires and billionaires. I've come on your show on my first day as Green Party leader, and this is the conversation that we want to have.
We're just trying to clear it up.
I've apologised for it. I've said it doesn't represent me.
But did you say to women, you can imagine you have bigger boobs?
No, I didn't say that.
Did you hypnotise or hypnotherapise women to think that?
I've never hypnotised and charged a woman.
Did you tell women to picture themselves with bigger boobs?
This is such an absurd conversation.
No, but I'm just... Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. How many times can I say it is not true? This
So are you going to sue the Star for a completely libelous story?
It was a misrepresentation. I said to them to make it really, really clear that this was something I would never charge for. It's not a representation
No, never charge for, fair enough, but ever do?
No, it's not something I would ever do. So, as I said, I did an article about body image. This was with a Sun journalist. She then said, is this something you would like to experiment with? I said, as long as you make it clear it's not a service I do, it's not something I charge. It was a ridiculous article 12 years ago as an actor in the newspaper. And I think when these questions come from legacy and mainstream media, it often sounds like it's trying to silence left-wing politicians who are saying, I want to look at inequality in this country. I want to look at the things that actually matter, like the ongoing genocide in Gaza, the fact there's homeless people in the street, the fact I spent a couple of hours yesterday with migrant workers who are saying they're not even being paid a basic wage in this country to run our National Health Service.
But
I think these are the things that matter to people.
Yes, absolutely, but also the character of someone matters to people and the promises people make matter to people. So,
totally.
So the legacy mainstream media is only just trying to work out who you are and how credible your promises are.
Sure.
Do you not think that that's legitimate?
I think that's totally legitimate.
Right,
I'm a politician, I should be held to account. But I think also once someone said, that doesn't represent me, I apologised, it was 12 years ago, let's move on.
No, but I think to be fair to me, I was asking you a question which you didn't answer. I asked you, did you believe that at the time and did you change your mind?
Right.
And you say it's not what I believe now, but did you at the time believe that? No. And that is just a misrepresentation. Fine. Let me ask you a question about your view of politics. Do you think that it makes no difference on the environment whether you have a Conservative government or a Labour government? They're basically all the same when it comes to tackling climate change?
I don't think it's true. I don't think it matters which government it is. I think it matters which politicians are in power and what secretaries of state we have who are taking action on the climate.
So Kemi Badenoch said this week that she wants to drill, baby drill, get all the oil out of the North Sea, oil and gas. Ed Miliband has said he wants to stop that. Is that a difference or are they actually the same?
I mean, that's clearly a difference. I'd much rather take Ed Miliband over Kemi Badenoch. But at the same time, the Labour government took £4.1 million from Quadrature Capital. That's a hedge fund that has assets in oil and gas, arms companies, gambling companies. I think that is problematic, and I think that's vested interest. So as the new leader of the Green Party, I'm going to be calling out whoever it is who isn't taking action on the climate crisis.
But on the climate, would you rather have a Labour government or a Conservative
I'd rather
government?
have a Labour government, but a Labour government is not enough. And actually, when you have a climate crisis, it's not enough to have a gold star.
You rather gave the impression that Keir Starmer was basically a Tory, they're all the same, but you've now told us that you'd rather have a Labour government than a Conservative government. And so I'm just trying to understand that contradiction.
I think there's a much more fundamental question, which are the Labour government doing enough to tackle the climate crisis? Fundamentally, no, they're not. Are they better than the Conservative government? Yes, marginally, but I'm not interested in better.
So if you've got a Labour if you've got a Labour Conservative marginal seat, would you tell your candidate not to stand because it's better that Labour win than the Conservatives win for the climate? Or would you say it's OK if a Green candidate stands, takes votes from Labour and the Tories get in?
I want to see every Labour politician who's voted for a two-child benefit cap, for disability cuts, for the ongoing genocide in Gaza to sell arms to them.
Even if that's
even
if that's worse for the environment, that's OK. You're the Green Party leader, but you would have a worse Green outcome for these other issues.
I don't think people like being held hostage like that. And if the Labour government want to bring in proportional representation so that every vote counts equally...
It's called voting.
Well, it's not called voting if it's a broken voting system. And if the Labour Party are keeping that same broken voting system, despite the fact your members and the unions are saying we want a fair voting system,
the next election, it's going to be first past the post. Are you going to say to people... Yeah, it will be.
Well, then I think if it's still first past the post, there's no way Keir Starmer can say it's me or Nigel Farage, because he's the person who has kept that broken voting system in place. If we want better politics, it's time to have a better voting system.
At the next election, people have a choice. If they vote Green in a marginal seat and take votes from Labour and let the Tories in, that means that the environment is set back on your arguments.
And you're saying of that question, Ed, if they take votes from Labour are not entitled to anyone's votes. Labour cannot promise things to the country and then you
said that Labour is better than the Tories.
Sorry?
On the environment,
I said Labour is marginally better than the Tories. I'd rather have that difference, yes. But that's not good enough. And I'm not interested in taking basic crumbs from a party that is selling our children and our grandchildren down the river on the climate and on nature.
Ultimately, you've said you want to replace Labour.
Absolutely.
Of course. You are not an MP. You are not... you have not been elected by voters in a constituency.
Well, I am elected in the London Assembly.
Yes, yeah, but what I'm going to ask is, are you going to stand as an MP in the next election, and where are you going to stand?
Yes, absolutely. So I want to be one of the new cohort of London Green MPs that I have no doubt we're going to have.
Which seat are you going to target?
Well, I'm going to wait until we get nearer the time to see exactly
which is the most likely one to win.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, partly, yes, that's a strategic decision.
That may sound a rather cynical, entitled view, but my advice would be to do that.
Well, I'm already elected across London, so I'm elected under proportional representation. I represent all Londoners, so actually any London constituency I already represent.
Not going to be PR next time?
Not going to be PR next time.
Not in Westminster elections. I think you need to think about which seat you're going for.
Well, I think the fact that you keep saying it's not PR next time shows kind of... I know you don't represent the Labour government, but the lack of ambition in changing our politics. Our politics is so broken in this country. People are so frustrated. They are tired and they're exhausted.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the key things we could do is bring about proportional representation so we could have more progressive politics like we see across the rest of Western Europe.
I just wondered whether you might be targeting, for instance, a cabinet minister. I mean, we're about to interview later in the programme Wes Streeting. I think his majority is only about 300. And, you know, it would be a very high-profile race, wouldn't it, if you stood against someone like that?
I'd be delighted to see Wes Streeting lose his seat, but whether that's me or whether that's another Green or whoever it might be, then
And just I want to ask you about immigration, because it is a huge topic, and you have called Nigel Farage one of the most effective political operators that we have seen in this country. But while he is taking over the debate on immigration on the right, you seem to take, unsurprisingly, a totally different view, which is no limits on immigration. Is that the case?
Well, I first want to qualify that I despise Nigel Farage's politics. So although I'm saying he's an effective political communicator, a lot of the things he's done, like Brexit, I think have been catastrophic for this country. I think it's also undeniable that he cuts through. People know who he is and they hear what he says. On immigration, I think the question is this. We have an ageing population. We have 150,000 vacancies in our National Health Service. Now, of course, we should be training British workers to have the future jobs. But at the same time as doing that, we should recognise that when migrants come here, they are very often paying more into our benefit system through tax than they are taking out.
So no limits?
Well, I think the question is, why would you want to set a limit? And if the reason you want to set a limit is because we need more council homes, we need more investment in the National Health Service, I agree. But none of that is the problem of migrants. The problem there is multimillionaires and billionaires not paying enough tax and not enough investment in public service.
OK.
Those are all political choices. We can make different political
choices. Are you going to be the Nigel Farage of the left?
Well, not in terms of his politics, but in terms of the storytelling and cut-through, absolutely, that's part of the ambition.
Interesting. Zack Polanski, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed.
I know we have to let you go.
Sure.
So we're going to talk to you now.
Thanks for coming in the studio. It's a really good move.
I appreciate it.
Good first-day choice.